Hello, everybody. Welcome to Abide 2.0, Abide Quarantine Edition. This is my living room. I am Hope Hamling, founder and teacher at Abide Yoga. And I am really excited actually to be sharing some practices with you, practices that are accessible at home. Here on our YouTube channel, at least for now, we are not trying to recreate our studio experience. We're not trying to do anything like that. What we are trying to do is give you practical ways to incorporate these yoga practices and other practices that we believe in, that we believe are helpful into our everyday lives. Okay, our everyday lives have grown a lot more compressed due to what we are currently going through collectively. And it is my hope that we can find a little bit of space and a little bit of ease through practicing yoga and breath work and meditation. So I wanted to get started this morning just by reading a little something out of this book by Deborah Adele, The Yamas and Niyamas. I feel like pretty much everybody who's been through a yoga teacher training has read this book. Okay, this book is all about yoga's ethical practice. And at its root, yoga is about living in this world in a way that helps to promote our idea of connection, right? So yoga is about poses to a certain extent, a little bit, but for the most part, it's about realizing that we are not separate from anybody. The ethical practices, there are 10 of them, are outlined in this book, and one of them is santosha, or contentment. And I just want to read this little bit. It's called Maintaining Center. The Buddhists speak of developing an abiding calm, a centeredness that is unshakable, like a tall tree so rooted in the earth that the great winds cannot topple it. This, for me, is the image of contentment. It means not riding the waves of the ups and downs of life. It means that we not only agree to what is in the moment, but we actually welcome it. It means that in all the noise and demands of modernity, we stay in the abiding calm center. This is the mastery of life that contentment invites us into. The practice of gratitude and non-seeking can help us to stay rooted. So thinking about creating those roots, those strong roots, we're going to get started this morning with a little bit of a home practice. So this is a 20-minute practice to help feel a little bit more connected to your roots. And let's just begin by finding our mat, coming to lie down on our back. As you find your mat, you come to lie down on your back. It might be nice to take the soles of your feet to the floor, really plug them in. Pick up your hips, set them back down. Pick up your shoulders and set them back down. You might even rock your knees from side to side a little bit, just to kind of massage your tailbone into the floor. And as you find this position, notice the speed and the quality of your breathing. Notice the kind of energy that you're carrying around inside of your physical body this morning, or today, whenever you're watching this. And notice the weight of your head and the point where your head is connected to the floor. Good, and then just rock your head from side to side for a moment or two. keep the sole of the right foot connected to the floor, but send your left leg up nice and high and clasp behind that left thigh. Just roll the left ankle around a few times. As you roll your left ankle around, notice the arch, the heel, the back of your knee. Good, let's cross that left ankle over the right knee and squeeze the right thigh in towards the chest, figure four. Few deep breaths here with the left hip. Good, and then unwind that left leg. Let's set the sole of the left foot on the floor and reach that right foot up towards the ceiling. Roll the ankle around. Hi, Shiv. And then we'll cross that right ankle over the left knee and hug the left thigh in towards the chest, finding some space through the right glutes. Good, a little rock from side to side if it feels right, or maybe you want to hold still. Right, good, and then let's unwind those legs, and we're going to send both feet up towards the ceiling here. Let's take our hands and place them underneath the lower back. I like to tuck my thumbs just on the underside of my sacrum, which is the bony plate at the base of the spine. And then we're just going to move the feet around in a circle. Okay, your inner ankles are going to stay connected or close to each other. Moving your feet around in a circle, using the muscles of your lower belly, the sides of your waist. Maybe those circles begin to get bigger. But check in with your jaw. If your jaw starts to clench, maybe make those circles a little bit smaller. Good, and then we'll take the circles in the other direction, going from big back down to small. Good, a few more. Right, and then from here, let's take the feet back down, soles of the feet together, knees out wide for your reclined bound angle pose. I always like to pick up the shoulders and set them back down to find some space across the chest. If you find that you need some support on your outer knees, outer thighs, you can always make fists and kind of tuck your fists underneath your outer thighs. And let's just take 5 breaths or so here. Out of this, place the soles of the feet on the floor, and we're going to lift up into a bridge pose. So as you press into the feet, lift up those hips. Your arms could be alongside you like this, or you might take some robot arms, elbows into the floor, fingertips pointing up, and think about drawing your shoulder blades in towards each other to broaden across the collarbones. Good, really feel your feet pressing into the floor. Your feet are really strong here. All right, and then let's begin to roll the spine back down, and we're going to come to sit up. And as you come to sit up, let's turn so that your left leg is extended out nice and long in front of you. And the sole of your right foot will come to the inside line of that left leg. So from here, just think about really flexing that left foot. If you have tension in the hamstrings, this can be enough. This can be enough. Just sitting up tall here, thinking about lifting the heart, lifting those lower ribs. If you want to fold forward, you're welcome to fold forward. Maybe it's a little bit. Maybe it's a lot. Right? There's no wrong answer. This is just about you getting information from your body. As you fold yourself forward, if you're doing so, you might drop the head down for a bit. We're going to remain for about 7 deep breaths. Right, and if you are folding forward, lift yourself back up. Let's take the right hand behind you, and it might be nice to just lean back into that right hand, drop the head back a little bit. You might want to stretch that left arm high. Another option is to pick up those hips, really reach out, nice long line with the left side of the body. Good, and then set yourself back down. And then we're just going to switch it out. Same thing, other side, so that left leg folded up, right leg nice and long. You think about if this is where you would like to stay, sitting up tall, kind of working on that dignified seat. Or perhaps you're folding in a little bit here. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's a lot. Again, there's no wrong answer. We all have different lower backs, we all have different hips. There is no one way this should look. And also just think also that there's no need to achieve anything here. Okay, this is not about aesthetics. This is about you in your body this morning, this day, whenever you're watching it. Let's take another 5 breaths or so. Ourselves back up. From here, we'll extend both legs out nice and long. Ooh, I forgot about that other thing we did. So let's fold that left leg back up. So sorry. We're going to take the left hand behind and just kind of lean back. Maybe you're dropping your head back to stretch through the side, the right side of your neck. Maybe you're extending that right arm out long, or picking up the hips for stargazer pose. Yeah, big stretch through the right side of the body here. And then we'll sit ourselves back down. Good, and then from here, extend both of your legs out nice and long. All right, let's breathe in and reach those arms up and overhead. You notice the state of things. Does it feel comfortable to sit up tall here? Are you experiencing some restriction in the low back and hamstrings? Okay, you might decide to stay right here, hands to the floor in staff pose or dandasana. Or if you want to fold forward, you're welcome to do that. Okay, let's just take 5 good breaths. Maybe the head drops down. Good, and then start to sit yourself back up if you have folded forward. the next thing we're going to do is take a toe squat. So we're going to come onto the mat and we're going to take our knees down to the floor or to a block or a stack of books or whatever you have around you, so that when you tuck your toes underneath, it doesn't feel super, super, super intense through the toes. If sitting up tall works for you, go ahead and sit up tall. Otherwise, hands to the floor. There is nothing wrong with keeping your hands on the floor here. Nothing at all. Whatever works. Right? How are your toes today? How are your arches? What is this like for you? Try to breathe. Try to breathe. And we'll just take maybe 5 more breaths like this. Come on out of this. We'll remove the block from under the knees or the book or whatever you have, and take the sole or take the tops of your feet to the floor and just give a little kick, a little pitter patter with your toes. Good. From here, let's stretch through the tops of the feet and the ankles. If this is all right with your ankles, yes, sit back on your heels. If this is not super comfortable, it's okay. You can stand up on the knees too. Or you can just come on out of it into a nice, comfortable seated position, cross-legged. Right, but a few moments here just to feel that stretch through the top of the feet. Another option is to pick the knees up, maybe take a little bit of a balancing pose if your feet are up for that kind of thing. If they're not, it's okay. It's okay. This is not better than that, all right? So just a few more moments here, a few more breaths. Take some time to find hands and knees. And as you find your hands and knees, let's think about moving the spine at first a little bit. So there's that nice rounding of the back, that cat pose. And then as you drop the belly, that's your cow pose. You make sure your fingers are spread out nice and wide. Your wrists are more or less under your shoulders. Good, and then we're going to take that left hand and turn it around or to the side. So your palm is still on the floor, but you're stretching deeply through the wrist here. Good, a couple breaths with your left wrist. Good. Turn that left hand around, and then we're going to turn the right hand. Good. Fingers towards the knee. How does this wrist feel? Make sure your fingers are spread out wide even as you do this. Just another breath or two. Back through to the center. We're going to sit back on our heels again and just circle the wrists around. So your hands are interlaced, and you're just going to kind of move your hands around in a circle, keeping the heels of the hands connected. All right. So let's extend those hands down to the front of the mat, and we're going to take downward facing dog from here. Shake the head out. Give it a really good shake. Maybe you want to breathe in calmly through the nose, and on the exhale, stick out your tongue, make a loud sound. And then we'll slowly, slowly, slowly walk the feet towards the hands, one little step at a time. Really sensitizing our feet. Good. Eventually your hands will kind of move back towards the feet. And let's take our standing forward fold. Maybe the knees are really bent here to help your hamstrings and lower back feel better. And let's take some halfway lifts. So as you inhale, slide your hands up the fronts of your legs. And as you exhale, slide the hands down the backs of the legs. Okay, we're lifting on the inhale to parallel with the floor. And then as you exhale, you just kind of soften forward. Maybe we'll take 5 more of these. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Yeah, a couple more. Good. As you hang forward, maybe interlace the fingers behind the back, press the knuckles up towards the ceiling, standing yoga mudra. Good, and then bend the knees, soften them a little bit, and we'll roll all the way up to standing. And just shake around a little bit here. You can swing those arms side to side. Good, and then slow the movement, come to center. All right, so we're just gonna make a connection here, a mental connection with our lower limbs. So we're just gonna pat your left leg. Pat your left leg from the top to the bottom. Get the front, get the back, really give it a good smack. As you do this, say to yourself, this is my left leg. This is nobody else's left leg. This is my left leg. This is my strong left leg. Good. All right, and then we're gonna move over to the right leg. Okay, patting the sides, the front, the back, up close to your glutes, down close to your foot. Good, and say to yourself, this is my right leg. This is nobody else's right leg. This is my right leg. This is my strong right leg. All right, and then come on up, pat your belly, your lower belly. Pat the sides of your waist and your lower back, pat your own glutes. I never thought you'd be doing that in yoga class, huh? Good. Pat the middle of your back. Pat the middle of your belly. Pat around your breast or your chest. Pat the center of the chest. Good. And then pat that left arm down. Say to yourself, this is my left arm. This is nobody else's left arm. This is my left arm. And then pat your right arm. Pat that right arm all the way up and down and say to yourself, this is my right arm. Nobody else's. This is mine. Good. And then bring your attention back to the chest. Give it a couple of pats. And let's stand up here nice and tall for a moment. You might interlace your fingers and just set them down on your heart. A couple big breaths here in your body. You're in your body, nobody else's body, your body. Good, and now we'll practice a little bit of tree pose. So tree can be taken so many different ways. If you have a wall nearby for balance, it might be nice to have a wall to place your hand on to help you with this a little bit. But let's kind of rock our weight into our right foot. Think about drawing the right kneecap up, really engaging the thigh. And a few options. You can keep your left toes on the floor, point that left knee out, hands to hips. You could take that left foot to the inside line of the right leg, anywhere really, low down, high up. Allowing your right foot to be firmly rooted here. Might feel nice to have your hands on your belly. You might send your arms up and overhead if that works in your body. And notice how in these tree poses, we're never really still. Even if we're balanced, there is some amount of movement. Ideally, we have that bit of movement, that bit of play and flexibility so that we don't become too rigid, so that we don't fall down. Good, one more breath or so. And then go ahead and set that left foot down and let's give ourselves a little swing. Let's give our legs a little shake. Yeah, not exactly yoga, but just a nice way to kind of break up some of the tension and give your hips a little shake. Yeah, give your shoulders a little shake. All right, and then we'll just come back to standing. All right, left foot's gonna be on the floor. Let's take either the right toes to the floor and point the right knee out. And again, your left hand could be touching a wall here. There's no shame in using props or a wall or whatever to help you with your practice. Okay, that right foot, will come up to the inside line of the left leg. Maybe it comes up higher if that works for you. And I have really been loving hands on the low belly here. It feels super soothing, super balancing. Like, who says we have to grow and strive all the time, right? Sometimes it's just about maintaining balance wherever we are. Just a few more breaths. Right, and then let's go ahead and set that right foot back down. Give ourselves that little bit of a wiggle again. Couple deep breaths. All right, and just one more pose here. I'm thinking today in this little sequence, we will take a squat. Squats are not always the most comfortable thing in the world. Sometimes it's nice to have your hands on the floor. Your heels might be lifted. You might look like a little frog here. Okay, maybe a squat is just not a thing in your body and you want to lay down on the floor and take a happy baby pose, drawing the knees wide to frame the chest. That's another nice option. Okay, so just a few breaths like this. Feeling the lengthening of your lower back, your tailbone reaching to the ground, your crown kind of reaching up and away from it. Good, last breath or two. All right, and then from here we're going to take a seat and actually come to lie down on our backs. And I'm going to recommend the use of a block or a book or a little stack of books for our final pose, which will be a restorative bridge pose. So you'll just pick up your hips, slide a little something underneath it. Yeah, this could also be some pillows, could be like a little stack of blankets. You just want your hips a tiny bit higher than your heart. Good, as you bring yourself down and get yourself settled in this pose, Notice what your arms want to do. Maybe they want to stretch out nice and long to the sides, or maybe your hands are on your body somewhere, your elbows are bent. Good. Notice your feet on the floor. And your body breathing. Your body breathing. I'd like to invite you to hang out in this restorative bridge pose for as long as you would like. You're at home. There does not need to be a formal end to this practice at all. Ideally, you'll remain in this restorative bridge pose for a little while, maybe even like a few minutes, maybe another 20 or 30 deep breaths. Remembering that we have the ability to stay rooted, to stay flexible, even when big winds flow through. I'm glad you all were here with me today. Thanks so much. Bye.